Hey everybody, it's Mike Young, lifestyle nutritionist with aPlantBasedDiet.org. Welcome to chapter 117 of my book, Live to 150. I know you can do this. If you've gone this far, you have been with me for such a long time, I think you're ready for this now. This chapter is on brainwashing, and you need to accept, as I have accepted, that I've been brainwashed. You've been brainwashed. Unless you were raised living the diet I described in chapter 42 of this book, you have been brainwashed. It wasn't intentionally done. I'm not going to kind of let people or kind of, I'm going to let everybody off the hook. And I'm not going to say that this was done intentionally, but it was done. And if you look around about how everybody's sick now, you realize that it was done. And it wasn't an intentional training, like I said, but it was training. You have been taught by your parents or whoever raised you. Whether they said anything to you or not, you watched what they were eating and you ate the same things. I know I was a little bit different than that. As I described earlier in this book, I'm like the canary in the coal mine. Excuse me. I need to get some water. And because of that, I actually refused to eat a lot of things. A lot of things I thought were gross, like animal flesh, not just flesh, the muscle. And that's described there in my story, which is an earlier chapter in this book. So go check that out, please, when you get a chance. And however, the brainwashing, you basically were told to do something. So you can, at any point in your life, because you're not being held prisoner. It's kind of like, what's the definition of a cult? Some people say a cult is some type of an organization or place where you're not allowed to leave. So if you can leave at any time, that's what even the cults say. Well, they can leave at any time. Leave at any time. Well, if you leave at any time, it's not a cult. Well, I mean, but nobody really ever leaves. Okay, there's this brainwashing that's taken place, and the same thing has happened here with the food system, with the way that people are raised. And as we've described in earlier chapters, there's a lot of reasons for that, but it is what it is. So your duty as a human, someone that cares about their health, someone that wants to enjoy life to the fullest, you've got to follow everything, all 150 chapters here, is that you need to start making some decisions on your own. And you need to recognize that even up to this point, if you've never had this realization before, that it may be that you've never made any food decisions on your own of things that you actually want to eat because you chose to eat them. Because I know that we are trained in a way that we need to be slaves to our taste buds. And anything that we all determine or the food chemists determine is something that makes our taste buds explode. That's what we need to go for. But that's not a choice. You were raised in that, trained in that, and you are simply obeying and following orders when you're behaving like that. And that is, like I said, it's almost like a cult-like behavior. It's almost like an abusive relationship, I'd say, almost, because you're not making your own choices. And I've talked about actually how self-abuse is legal. It's kind of crazy because everybody you hear the word abuse and it's like throws up all the stuff, but feelings inside and people get upset, but then most everybody's doing it to themselves all the time, every day. So that's kind of scary when we think about that. But if you've gotten this far, you've already realized that. So I'm telling you, you gotta get to the point where you realize that all your, like, a lot of your gut feelings on food is part of the brainwashing from your youngest years and even before you were born, like when you were in the womb. Okay, all that stuff that was affecting you psychologically and training you. And it is very, very difficult. So do not underestimate the amount of willpower and effort that it takes to get out of this cycle. And if you have, please let me know in the comments. If you know people who are stuck in it, this brainwashing cycle that you have tried to help out, please let us also know about those people in the comments. These kind of stories will help people who are watching the book and, make it more personable. With me, like I said, I was a little different because I was the one who was trying to not be brainwashed. I didn't realize it at the time. All the stuff I didn't realize it at the time, but they were good choices. I just didn't realize it because no one around me made it seem that way. That's all part of the brainwashing cult-like, food addiction type system or environment that we're in, the culture that we're in. So thank you so much for watching. If you got some value out of it, hit the like button and of course subscribe, and I'll see you in the next chapter. Bye-bye.